Classic Restos Trucks Edition Series 2, proudly brought to you by Gleeman Truck Parts, Premier One Products, and Shannons Insurance, where you can become a member of the Shannons Club. Hello and welcome to the first episode of Classic Restos Trucks Edition Series 2. Thanks of course to my fantastic major sponsors who have decided to stay with me. Go to the best website in the world to find some of the nicest people to do business with. When it comes time for the best in truck parts, cleaning products for your truck, insurance for your classic truck, and serving the enjoyable egg, go to classicrestos.com.au. Why? Well, those major sponsors are there on the homepage. Click on their logos to be directed to their websites for more information as to how they can help you. On today's show, I've travelled west of Sydney in New South Wales, Australia to Chipping Norton, the location of one of my major sponsors. They're having a pallet sale here today, and I thought that there'd be no better opportunity than to kick off the first episode of Classic Restos Trucks Edition Series 2. Now you might be thinking to yourself, wow, how cool is this? A second series of trucks from Fletchy. Well, it's a thanks to you from your support in Series 1, and of course the ongoing support from my major sponsors. Talk about the trucking fraternity getting together. It's days like this where everyone comes together and it's an incredible day out. They can also buy some great stuff as well. What you see here is the SALT, the hard-working truckers that put our foods on the shelves while we're asleep. These are the guys that within their very strict laws work 24/7. Rightio, here we go. First cab off the rank. Tony, welcome to the show.
Yeah, thanks, Fred. How you going, mate?
Good, mate, good.
Morning. You having a good morning?
Oh, mate, how good is this?
Can't beat it, can you?
Absolutely. They've done it again here, the major sponsors of Classic Restos Truck Series Edition, Series 2. Mate, it's all going on.
That's great, isn't it? Every year it's great. Gleeman too. Do a good job. You do a good job of doing the show too.
Thanks. Thanks, Tony. Well, I love the fraternity. As I said, all throughout Series 1 of Classic Restos Trucks, you guys, you're just a great bunch of blokes. And the machinery, the trucks that you bring with you to days like this are just amazing. In this case, a 1975 white. I've got to say, I've heard some fantastic trucks. The note of this old girl is amazing.
Yeah, it is, mate. Our straight 6 GMs, mate, they always sound good. Yeah. They're the best part about the GMs, you know. They've always got a nice sound to them. Yeah.
Now, Tony, they don't mind, they like revving. They don't mind the rev.
Nah, the harder you treat them, the better they go. They like revving. They're not like the rest of the old trucks coming out. You've got to treat them right. These treat them like you hate them. Yeah.
I mean, the thing is, too, we have to respect the older technologies, don't we? Because, I mean, we've come a long way in so many areas with technology, refinement, trucks are more efficient. But when we look back to 1975 and we look at this, I guess in some ways they're so archaic, but they're so good.
Yep, yeah, they are. Well, them trucks in them days, back 1975, was like a modern Kenworth now or a Restos, you know. Back them days, they were a big truck. Today, they're only a toy. And that's the only way you treat them these days. You couldn't afford to run them.
But Tony, they'd still pull anything though, wouldn't they?
Oh yeah, they're still out working today. You get the odd blokes, you know, there's some doing containers, some up the bush still working, you know. But I couldn't do it, it's too noisy.
Mate, how long have you had the truck?
14 years. It used to be a yard truck, and about 2 years ago we were at a show at Melbourne, and how it all started, I walked up to another truck like this, and the bloke said to me, you want to know anything about these whites? I said, no, not really. I said, I've got one in the backyard. He looked at me stupid, right? He says, oh, everybody's got one of these in the backyard. We come back to work, and anyway, about a month later, a mate of mine said, that bloke didn't believe it, did he, Tony? He goes, no. And he goes, why don't we do the old girl up? So we had 4 weeks to get it ready for the Dubbo Truck Show. So we worked on it every night and weekends, not during the day, and that's what we come up with, you know, end up at the Dubbo Truck Show.
You know, what I love about these trucks too is that they're trucks and they look like trucks. Have a go at the dashboard. The seating position, as soon as you just feel like you're in a truck, don't you?
And there's a lot of work in them. If you see the way the bonnets are built, they're not flat anymore like the modern trucks. They're all just basic, you know. There's a lot of work goes into them. Like you said, the dashboard, there's a lot of work in that. Now they're all plastic and that's about all they are, you know.
That's it. Well, Tony, thanks so much for turning up here today, mate, and bringing the old girl along, a white 9000. And if you want to know how it sounds, well, we're going to see some of Tony's nice gear work in just a moment. But, mate, thanks for being on today's show.
Thanks very much, Fletch. Thanks to meet you. Thank you. Thanks.
You're welcome. Now strap yourself in your favourite chair and cop a load of this. Look who I have with me now, Charlie Gleeman, Managing Director. How are you, Charlie?
I'm very well, thank you, Fletch.
That's right, mate. Great to see you.
Yeah, great to see you too. Thank you for coming along and filming our fantastic bunch of trucks that we've got here today.
Absolutely. Now, you've made the trip up from Melbourne, especially for the day?
Oh yeah, my word, yeah. It's a good day, catch up with everybody, and Gleeman's have a large pallet sale going on as well, so really good to be around and have a coffee and catch up with everybody.
On that note too, I do want to thank you so much for your ongoing support, because without guys like this, there's no Classic Restos Trucks Series 2. So thanks, Charlie.
That's really our pleasure, Fletch, to be able to help you and to see you attending all these truck shows.
Thank you very much. And also on that note too, classicrestos.com.au, where you'll see all of the major sponsors listed there on the homepage. Now, Charlie, you've done it again. These trucks just come out of the woodwork for a day like this.
Yeah, my word, they've been polishing them and cleaning them, and the amount of work, a lot of them still work during the week, so the boys are putting in.
What I learnt from Series 1, the age of some of these working trucks, still working every day of the week, is just beyond me.
Well, they're good, strong old trucks, so they wear them out, put another engine and a few more parts in them, and
some of the guys will make comment that the newer stuff rounds them up on the hills and what have you, but it doesn't seem to worry them. The freight still gets there.
Yeah, my word, yeah. And it's a lot cheaper, I guess, too, for the truck compared to a new one.
Yeah, that's true. Charlie, it's good to see you again, and mate, have a good day today here. I mean, I know you're busy. Big PR exercise for you here today. They won't leave you alone.
Yep, no, thank you very much.
All right, mate, take care of yourself, and again, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, this bloke's running around. He's hiding, doesn't want to be on TV. Glenn, how are you, buddy?
Great, Fletch, great.
That's the way, mate. You've done it again.
Well, it's not over yet, but yeah, it's a great day. The sun's shining, so that's a start.
Mate, there hasn't been one night of the week where you've been home this week, eh?
Don't tell my wife that, but yeah, that's true.
He's been sleeping here. I mean, you've done it again, mate. You know, it's a great turnout here. A lot of work, eh?
It is a lot of work, but it gives a bit back to the trucking fraternity, and all these guys come, bring their old trucks in, and they have a chat and tell a few lies, and we sell a bit of stuff. It's a great day.
Yeah.
It's a great day.
That's good. Mate, I'll let you get back to it. Just want to thank you so much for your efforts and having me along again.
It's a pleasure, mate, and thanks very much, Fletch, for everything you do for the trucking community. Thank you. My
pleasure, Glenn. You're watching Classic Restos Trucks Edition Series 2, of course, thanks to my major sponsors. Visit them online via classicrestos.com.au. Back with more classic trucks after this. Okay, got John now from Northwest Trucks. How are you, John?
Good, Fletch.
That's right, mate. What have you bought?
Oh, mate, I've bought a few bargains here today that Gleeman's had on sale, and so I thought I'd grab them while I can, mate.
People walking out the door with trolleys, and mate, you didn't muck around. When we talk trolley, doesn't always mean 2 wheels. Trust you to get one with 4.
Yeah, four-wheel trolley, mate.
Good on you, John. Now, look, you've also played an integral part of today, getting it together, mate. Congratulations. Well done.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah, it was a bit of a fundraiser for our Haul in the Hume run, which is in 2 weeks. Yep. So we had the pallet sale in conjunction with Gleeman's, one of our major sponsors. And so this is just to help raise money for for the Haul in the Hume, and also help Gleeman's out as a major sponsor.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's good. I love it. All you guys, you work hard all week in your trucks and get together on the weekend and come to a day like this, and you're such characters. I mean, blokes like Darryl Killick. I mean, he was in Series 1. There's Chapo. I mean, there's a whole list of guys that everywhere you go around the Sydney area, if it's got to do with trucks, they're there.
That's right. Yeah, well, they're well known in the industry, And plus, Darryl, you can't get him off the microphone, can you? I'd really like to also thank you, Fletch, for taking on Series 2, the next thing for the truck. It's been really popular and had a lot of good feedback with it, you know.
Absolutely, mate. I'm a little time poor, but I've got so much time for the trucking fraternity, and I sincerely mean that. Series 1 went so well, just had to do 2, mate, so you're part of that. Thank
We
you.
really appreciate to get the old trucks out there, and you know, I think people who watch it appreciate it as well. You know, we get a lot of comments to say that we've seen you on Fletch and the old trucks, so no, it's good, you know, it's good all round, I think, you know.
You're a great bunch of blokes. Thanks, mate.
Thanks, Fletch.
Here we go, got a good bloke here, Bruce. Gunther, how are you, Bruce?
Good, Fletch, yourself?
Good, mate, good. This is the bloke. He's a good bloke. You know why? Because this is the founder, the creator of Haul on the Hume. What an event. You've created a monster. Before we start talking about your Kenworth truck here today, tell us about the plans for this year.
We raised money on this run. Became a bit of a personal thing to start with, but we raised the money for Autism Spectrum Australia to help kids with autism. My little fella suffers from that. We're very fortunate that he's not as bad as some, but it's something that's becoming more and more prominent, so that's what we want to put our money towards.
So if people want to find out more information, Bruce, who do they contact?
They can get in touch with us through the Western Sydney Historical Truck Club. They're the ones that host the event. And I have to say, you know, with what we've done as far as the autism side goes, the support that we've got from New South Wales Police and the RMS, and also the council that we've been dealing with down there, the Lachlan Valley Council, has been spectacular.
What a great bunch. What a great bunch, especially to the police and the guys out there in the field on the roads as well. And, you know, without these people, I mean, shows like this, they just wouldn't happen, Bruce.
No, that's correct. And I think the truckies and the RTA and the coppers sort of go back a long time, so they still do a bit of bantering. They did a hell of a lot of it back then, but they're right behind what we're doing. They love the old gear, and they've really been very supportive, so we need to thank them for sure.
Good on you, Bruce. You're a good bloke. Keep up the fine effort. Now, mate, moving on to this truck. Now, last time I spoke to you, you're about to jump on a plane, fly to Queensland, get in a truck you've never seen before and drive back to Sydney. Here's the old girl. Tell us the deal.
That's right. It's a bit of a long story, mate. I know you enjoy those. I was 8 years old when I first saw this truck. It's a 1978 Kenworth. And I knew the owner of it. He used to come and play cricket up behind my mum and dad's house. I used to ride up on my push bike and ride around his trucks. And one day this old Kenworth turned up there and I was just gobsmacked with it. It was a truck that probably got me into transport, and that's why I do what I do today. And it was all because of this cab over Kenworth. And a couple of years ago I went hunting for it and I found it.
Mate, we've got photos on screen now. This truck brand new at a truck show. How awesome.
That's right, mate. At the time, I didn't know that, and it was just a special truck to me at the time. I loved American TV, BJ and the Bear, Moving On. A lot of guys would have known those shows. And that was probably what I liked about it. It had aluminium rims fitted to it from new, which was quite rare, and aluminium chassis rails, and it was spec'd up off an American design, American paint scheme. And Max Keogh was the owner of the truck, and he did that especially. He put his heart and soul into getting this truck on the road. He knew at the time that he was going to be keeping the truck for a long time, so he ticked every conceivable option that he could. And for me, it was just a special thing as a kid, but now I've realised it was a very, very well-known truck on the road through the day. It was quite well-known.
And it was in Queensland in the cane fields.
That's correct, mate. Yeah, I ended up finding it in Yatala. A couple of guys helped track it for me. It took about probably 6 months that I really tried hard before I found it. And Max had used to sub it to Don Turner, whose colours it's in now, and Donnie had bought the truck from Max when Max decided to go over to America, where he still is now. He's 78 and still drives trucks in the States over there. So Donnie bought the truck and Don helped me find it as well. Don said that the truck was very, very original and authentic, so he didn't want to change anything on it, hence the fact that it's just a very complete, original, unmolested truck. I'm quite lucky.
Engine, gearbox, how many speeds in the box, Bruce?
It has a Silver 92 Detroit diesel in it. It's got an 18-speed double overdrive in it. The truck originally had a naturally aspirated 92, and it also had a 13-speed in it. Max repowered it with a brand new motor and brand new gearbox in the mid-90s, and that's the way it is. But it's still got the torsion bar rear end, so it's a K125CR, the 125 standing for torsion bar rear. And like I say, it's got aluminium chassis rails. This truck teared 7.64 tonne when it was new, which was extremely light for a cab over.
Mate, it's probably fairly irrelevant, but do you know how many Ks the truck's done in its life?
Probably a bit more than you and I have, mate, but I don't know. I'm sort of guessing it's probably up at the 3 or 4 million mark. Max used to work it regularly, and it did a lot of work.
I love hearing those numbers, 3 and 4 million. You think, just how many times a crankshaft must turn around to do that sort of mileage? It's beyond comprehension. Bruce, lovely to catch up with you, mate. As I said earlier, you do stand for a lot of positive things with our trucking fraternity, and just great to see you again, mate. Thanks.
No worries at all, mate. Thank you very much. Appreciate the time.
For DVD boxed sets of Classic Restos Trucks Edition Series 2 and to see how my major sponsors can help you, go to classicrestos.com.au. Hope you're really enjoying today's episode of Classic Trucks. Back with more in just a moment. Welcome back. We've got Scott now. How are you, Scott?
Not bad, Fletch, yourself?
Hey, mate. Good, mate. Good. 1986 Kenworth. Beautiful truck, mate.
Thanks, mate.
Where's it go back with you?
Dad drove, my uncle drove, Pop drove, Pop's brothers drove. So it's in the blood.
They reckon that successful truck driver, the father before him and his father before him had to drive. It's got to be in your blood.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Not these days.
Mate, when you were a little kid, your school holidays, did you spend it in the cab of the truck with your dad?
Yeah. Fake sick of a morning, go to work with Dad.
How awesome is that? Mate, tell us about your truck. She's a weapon.
Yeah, it's a 86 SAR with a 892 D-Deck 2 in it. 13 over, non-pre-select. Still on torsion bar. And, yeah, it's my pride and joy.
Mate, she's big, she's powerful, she's a V8. It's got the goods, hasn't it?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, and the sounder suit.
This is the thing. The sound of these things. I mean, they're trucks. They look like trucks. They sound like trucks. I mean, they've just got balls, haven't they?
Oh yeah, not a lot of the things they make these days. They just don't cut it these days.
Mate, tell us, when you think of a classic truck and when you think of an older truck, what is it? What do they mean to you? What do you love about them?
Oh, just the older trucks is the pioneer and days back when drivers were really drivers. Back when you had to be able to drive, otherwise you wouldn't survive.
How long have you had it?
I've had it just shy of 18 months now.
Oh yeah.
And yeah.
So mate, she's a keeper.
Oh yeah, my young bloke's too, and he'll be getting it when I pull the pin.
Mate, good to see you've got a photo of your family there in the cab. I mean, full support there. Do they love it?
The young bloke loves it. The wife puts up with it.
Scott, on that note, time now to start it up. Go for a bit of a run. Have a listen to this. What an awesome device, Scott. Thanks for being on today's show, mate. Helping to make Classic Restos Trucks Edition what it is. Keep up the good work with this Kenworth here, mate. Well done.
Thanks, Fletch.
You saw him in Series 1 of Classic Restos Trucks, and here he is again in Series 2. John, welcome back.
Yeah, good day, Fletch. How you going?
Good, mate, good. How are you, all right?
Yeah, going all right now.
Mate, you're just as excited now as what you were when I first spoke to you.
Always at with trucks.
Mate, I tell you what, this guy is amazing. A 1975 Mack truck, drives it all around the outback. He's come back to Sydney for this particular day. You brought a blitz with you this time. What's going on with this, John?
Oh, yeah, this blitz has got a bit of a history about it, Fletch. This blitz was out at RAAF base here at Richmond during the war. It was an RAF oil tanker at the time. Yep. And then it went up to the Lawson Bushfire Brigade, and the bloke boarded up there and donated to the Deadman's Creek, which is at Gulgong. And then they're taking it out of service and they're going to send it for scrap, and my father bought it, and my son and myself have boarded off him since just to keep the thing going.
What an amazing original old truck. I mean, you can tell it hasn't had a restoration. These are thin on the earth. I mean, there are still a few blitzes getting around, but to find one like this is dinky die, isn't it?
Yeah, it's original.
Earlier in the year, I had the privilege of going to the Corowa Military Vehicle Rally, and there were some blitz vehicles there. It was the first time that I really got up close with one of these things. I mean, they're just so prehistoric, but they're so tough. I mean, they really were the truest four-wheel drive you could possibly come across.
They were made for men and took men to drive them.
Yeah. They certainly helped carve our landscape, didn't they?
They certainly did. You know, they were hot, no air conditioning, took the windows and doors off them, and that's what you had.
Just amazing, just amazing. John, it's great to catch up with you, mate. Good to see you again too, by the way, and thanks for making the trip back to Sydney, particularly for this day, and being back on Classic Restos, mate, because you start in Series 1, as I mentioned earlier. Good to see you back for Series 2, mate.
Yeah, thanks very much, Fletch. Thanks for coming today.
You know, when it comes to a basic truck back in the day that made a lot of blokes a lot of money, it'd have to be the Bedford. How are you, John?
Good, Fletch.
That's right, mate. 1969 TK Bedford, still going?
Still going. It's actually not my truck. It's one of the club members' trucks. He's lost his voice at the moment, so I can't front up on camera here. So, yeah, but TK Bedford, 190 Perkins, 5-speed box, 2-speed diff. And these trucks came in a lot of different configuration, and I served my apprenticeship, was a young bloke on these things, and they were cows of things to work on, and very maintenance intensive. But they were the local delivery trucks used everywhere. The soft drink companies used them. Arnott's biscuits, they were everywhere, you know. And they moved the freight throughout the metropolitan areas, basically, you know.
I think they were a very honest truck. I mean, many a times you would have seen back in the 70s a Bedford tipper outside of a house on the footpath, and that tipper was the sole income for the entire family, and it paid for itself.
Yeah, they were used in the quarries, and quite a few probably still did interstate as well, you know, with the bigger diesel motors in them. But you know, it's just basically. From what I can remember, in the 80s, the Isuzus and Japanese trucks hit the market, and basically they pushed these out of the market, and then the Isuzus and Hynos and Mitsubishis took over, and it was just a huge leap in technology, and you know, and basically the Bedford has seen its day.
When I see the interior and when I look at the dash cluster, it reminds me of a school bus, because Bedford bodies on school buses years ago, and they, like you say, they were very, very versatile. The petrol motor variants as well could always be signified too by the smaller wheels, the same as the Acco. The Acco cabs, the 510As, with their petrol motor V8s. So they ran diesel engines, petrol engines, right across the board, didn't they?
That's right. They ran 16-inch wheels, 20-inch wheels, and so in a huge different engine configuration, from little small petrols to big diesels, you know. So they were a versatile truck, no two ways about it.
John, sign on the door there, the Western Sydney Historical Truck Club. Tell us what's going on there.
Yeah, well, it's a club started by a couple of fellas a few years ago, and we're one of the main organisers of Hauling the Hume. And as you know, we're just down here today for a fundraising day and a pallet sale day for Gleeman's truck parts. And the Hauling the Hume run is in 2 weeks' time. And that'll be our second Hauling the Hume run, 2013, and the last one was in 2011. So, and that was a huge success, and with your series as well, that's why we're here today, so it'll be a good thing, you know. And
of course, Bruce Gunter too, doing a wonderful job raising that money for ASPEC for autism as well.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, well, I think we raised somewhere around about the 13,000, roughly, I think, from last thing, and we're expecting to do more than that this year. So
not bad for a bunch of truckies turning up with their classic trucks, eh?
No, you're not wrong there. Yeah, it was quite surprising how much money we did raise, you know.
Good on you, John. Thanks very much, mate. And thanks for speaking on behalf of the bloke that's lost his voice.
Yeah, Steve Party's the fellow that owns this truck, yeah, but he's lost his voice. He's been talking too much today. And
he's not having much of a party by the sounds of it.
No, that's exactly right.
All right. Thanks, John.
No worries. Thanks, Fletch.
Well, I hope you've really enjoyed the first episode in Series 2 of Classic Restos Trucks Edition. Of course, not possible without the continued support of my major sponsors. Now, you can find out who these people are and how they can help you when you visit classicrestos.com.au. And while you're there, Classic Restos merchandise is also available. Now, as I say at the end of every episode of Classic Restos, no matter where you're watching from, until next week, please ride and drive safe. I'm Fletch, and I thank you very much for watching. You can like and follow us on Facebook at facebook.com/Classic Restos TV and watch catch-up episodes at shannons.com.au.